Okay, let's start out this video looking at something I thought you'd find interesting. Little pizza shop here in Saudi, and not bad at all actually. They make everything pretty much from scratch, and the ingredients, I just go with a veggie usually. I go with a veggie style pizza here, and they're not bad.
All right, we're going to talk about some of the work that you can do when you're coming out and you're working in the different environments out here. What I want to do is kind of start out with this is going to be like a series that we're going to talk about. We're going to be discussing the different jobs that are out here and what you can expect from these different jobs. And we're going to focus, the first part of the series, we're going to be discussing the different IT jobs. It's the field that I work in overseas is going to be in IT. And also I've been contracting in IT, going through the various levels and working in different avenues of IT. So I want you to get a feel of the different types of work that's available.
After years of military contracting overseas, and I'm getting ready to retire, I thought I would pass on the information that I learned over years of working abroad to inspire others to reach out, check out the world, see the jobs that are overseas, and learn something about yourself.
First and foremost that we're going to discuss, and we are outside, so hopefully the equipment doesn't overheat as it did before. My video equipment started to overheat, and we've got some fluids over here, so you have to start early because in Saudi by 9 a.m. it's already over 100 degrees here, and you can't do any type of video work like this outside. It's just everything's gonna overheat and start shutting down. So we'll try to work, but it's nice being outside. It's kind of nice to get outside and do these videos too, instead of just sitting indoors. It's kind of nice to show you a little bit of, the background environment of where we're living here. We're going to start out with desktop support, okay? Desktop support is going to be probably the first type of work that you're going to be doing in IT, working in an overseas contract, working in contracting in general, okay? And it's actually a great place to start. It makes a lot of sense to start there. Even if you have trained and you have other certifications and you think you're going to move into a different IT job in contracting, if you get offered a desktop support and it's where you want to be, I would tell you to take that. And the reason why I say that is once you get in country, you start meeting the other folks that are in the IT services working with you. You're going to start meeting them, you start learning their jobs. You will say, okay, this is the direction I want to go. But you're now in country. You went through all the processing, all the visas, all the physicals that you have to take and everything else to get into that position. And then it's very easy to make lateral moves into other IT jobs, or after you finish a contract to move into another IT position because you've maybe got a certification while you're in country, which a lot of people do. You have plenty of study time. Desktop support is going to be most likely where you're going to start. And you are going to learn so much in desktop support, okay? The two different areas in desktop support that you see a lot of is you're going to have people that are going to be taking calls and helping people that are having problems with their software, with connecting to the network. Their physical devices like their PCs and their laptops are having problems, and so they're calling you and asking, can you help me with some of the situations I'm having? And doing that type of customer support on the telephone. Even though you are there working overseas, there is an element of people that are helping by telephone, okay? Or maybe by email, by taking in emails, requesting that something get added. Say, I need some type of a service added to my laptop, or some type of connection to be made to my computer. I am now changing my job and I need to be connected to a new network share, okay? And then desktop will take that information and make a ticket out of it, okay? And a ticket basically means that you have now been tasked with completing a job. You are the one that's assigned to it. There is a customer involved, and then there is a task involved. And when you complete that ticket, and it shows your work. It shows that you have performed work, okay? The other side of desktop support is going to be the hardware side. All right, so you are actually going to get in new PCs and new laptops, and also you're seeing more tablet devices now too. These like hardcore tablets that are rugged and waterproof, and all that type of stuff. Just people get those in. They use them around base. They use them around military bases. They use them overseas. They use them back in the States as well. These tablet devices now, things like that. But when you get these new items, they don't have anyone assigned to them yet, but you're just sort of loading them with the latest software, the software that needs to be on it, and then also the apps that would relate to just general use of those devices. And this is what we call putting an image on those devices, okay? An image is basically just getting the base software on these devices so they can be used on base. Now, when a person comes in and says, I just got assigned here, I need a laptop, or I need a desktop. Part of what desktop support will do is to go and put that equipment at their desk and plug it all in, make sure it all connects. And you're going to work with other people in the IT community on your base together as a team to make sure it connects to the network. Once it's up and running, you'll sit with that individual, make sure they can reach all the services that they need to reach. So you've received these laptops and PCs, you've put the initial image on it, then people come in and they request one of these items. That's a ticket. You go help them, or you might, if they're used to it, like if it's a laptop item, you might just set it up right there in your office, and then you turn it over to them. And all of that involves paperwork as well, that you're setting up who you gave it to and all that information that goes onto a database. You'll do all of that. You will learn so much in desktop support when it comes to helping people that have virus issues. They have malware, spyware put onto their computer by accident. They opened up an email, or their email just isn't working. Their network connections are not working. You're going to learn so much. And as time goes on, you build a folder of how to handle these situations, and it just becomes like a Bible to you, like this folder with all your different ways to handle all these situations that you run into. And you'll keep that for the rest of your career. Even if you go to other IT jobs, you'll still maintain that desktop support folder that you've built for yourself, because you're going to run into these situations, over and over again. And you want to have that information with you. You don't want to lose any of that. Another aspect of desktop support is going to be, so we talked about the customer service aspect, that you may actually be on a phone with a headset, people calling in, and you're helping them with problems. That's like your first level. And it's very important, and you learn a lot because you remote into their computer a lot and you help them solve their problem. Then another side of desktop support that we talked about is working with devices when they first come in. You get them set up, they go to a customer, okay? And you work with that customer, make sure they can reach all their services. Another aspect is people bring their devices to you because they're broken. All right, so you're working desktop support. In a lot of cases, it's 24 hours. You might even have desktop support at night on your base. They're bringing devices in. You set up a ticket again, and you go through with them. What are you seeing? What are you dealing with? What is it not doing that you want it to do? And you may connect it all up to a monitor right there and work with them. If it's a situation where they said, we want to leave it with you and we'll be back another day, that happens too. And then you get a chance to actually kind of work on that device. In many cases, if you're not able to figure out what the problem is, as far as maybe it does have some kind of malware on it, or maybe it does have a glitch on the software, it says problems, you're going to end up just wiping it back to basically having nothing on it at all, and you're going to reload the government image on it, okay, or the image that works with that device. And again, that's your foundational software, Windows, all the apps that are required to kind of get that device up and running. All right, and you will work with other members of the IT team to make sure that that device is now connected to the network and is allowed to be operated on the network. All right, but that is, re-imaging, as they call it, is a big part of what you'll do. You try to fix the problem, but not always are you able to. And there's a reason why devices that are used by the government are like that, and that is for security purposes, okay? For security purposes, they would rather the machine brick and you have to put a new image on it to be safe, okay? It just happens. And he's like, I have to re-image this device. And you will have that device back in the hands of that user in probably 24 hours, okay? But that's a big part of desktop support too, is working with devices that have problems. They're going to be bringing them into you. All right. So that's the different angles of what you're going to work with as desktop support. And again, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to have just a thick folder of how to deal with issues that people have, and you'll keep that for the rest of your IT career. I think desktop support is just a wonderful place to start in the IT world. What IT certs are going to be the best to get into desktop support? All right. First and foremost, before even IT certs, you're going to have to get a secret clearance. And I did a video step by step showing what's going to be entailed, what sort of background checks are going to be entailed to get a secret clearance. And I would refer you to go back to that video because it goes through everything that's going to happen to get that secret clearance. All right. That's first and foremost, is you have to get that secret clearance. What may happen is you may be cleared temporarily and you can start working while your secret clearance paperwork is going through. That happens too. All right. What certifications should you work on before you start working in desktop support in a contract? It is really best to have your CompTIA Security Plus done. Have it completed. You have to have that for IT jobs working. Okay, so we tried it again. We tried to start the video outside, and it overheated. Okay, the equipment all overheated. So let's go ahead and start where we left off there, where the video kind of ended. I believe the cutoff point was we were talking about what certifications to have to come over and do desktop support work, okay? Now, to do any type of IT work, in whether you're doing government contracting, all right, could be for your state too, not just federal, okay? If you're working back in the United States and you get a job working for your state government, they want you to have, if you're in government IT work, they want you to have the CompTIA Security Plus, okay? Now, if you don't have it yet, I will tell you a lot of times what they'll do is they'll set you up with books and everything. They'll start training you for the job. If you're competent and you're like motivated to start working, sometimes they'll start you working in a desktop support job, and you'll start shadowing someone and working the job. And then they will supply you with books and training material to get your Security Plus done, all right? And they just give you, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something like that to finish it. But you will eventually have to have that, all right? And I believe before the video shut off, I think we also mentioned that you have to have your secret clearance, and that I did a video on secret clearance. So I would refer you back to that to go through all the steps that's going to happen to get your security clearance taken care of, all right? The next thing that's going to be good to have when it comes to desktop support, they want you to have your Security Plus. You have to have that, okay? They're going to help you, if necessary, get that. But if you already have it, you're golden, okay? But the nice to haves that go with that position is going to be your CompTIA A+ certification. The A+ certification is sort of a foundational cert in IT, and it goes over a lot of what you're going to be doing in desktop support, such as working with Windows, loading Windows, dealing with issues that happen with Windows, email issues, connectivity issues, malware, spyware, removing viruses, keeping antivirus up to date, and dealing with just a variety of issues that happen with desktops and with laptops, okay? So that ends up being a really good cert. Now you say, do I have to have the A+ certification? Do I have to have it? A lot of times for desktop support, I can tell you they do not require you to have it. However, imagine if it comes down to a great overseas position and you have your Security Plus and you have your A+ completed, all right? That's going to put you ahead of a lot of people that are applying for that overseas position. So you want to make yourself the most qualified for that job so you get that job, okay? Another good one that's just come out within the last few years here is that Google has actually started a desktop support training program online, and it's a pretty good program. So that's another one that I would recommend for you to get. Again, is that something that the government says you have to have this Google program? Nope, they're not saying that. The only thing they're saying for desktop support is you got to have that Security Plus, okay? However, again, if you're going for a good job and you have that Google desktop support certification on top of your Security Plus, that's going to put you above others that are applying for a great job. And I want you to be the most qualified so that you get that position, all right? So that's going to be your IT certs that go with that. If you have other IT certifications, and we're going to talk about other IT jobs in this series, that's great. If you get offered that desktop support job, go work it. And you can make lateral moves. You can make moves after your contract gets done. You can move into another IT position, and you will probably study more IT certs while you're working overseas. But these are the baseline what you need to get into that desktop support position, okay? Finally, let's discuss background experience to get a desktop support position. I will tell you that if you have background in desktop support, working in the civilian world, working at a company, that is fantastic. Then you just need to make sure you have your certs that they want for that job. You have to pass your secret clearance, okay? And you're going to be golden to be able to get into desktop support then. But say you don't have that experience, say you don't have that background. If you show that motivation that you got your Security Plus, that you got your A+ certification, it's going to look really good on you, okay? It's understood that people that are getting into IT often start in a desktop support position, and it's a great place to start. You'll learn the most broad spectrum of issues that could possibly happen with the end user, all right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is if you don't have experience in desktop support, do not let that stop you from getting your certs and applying for these positions, because they need people, okay? They need people to do these jobs. And when you get in country, they'll train you so that you can start effectively doing that job. You're going to build your training folder and you'll start gaining experience, all right? If you have a background in the military doing certain rates like IT rates, okay, maybe not specifically desktop support. Maybe you have a IT communications, working with servers, working with a variety of different IT work. That's okay, because most likely you already have the CompTIA Security Plus because of that, and you most likely have your secret clearance because of that, and you have an IT background. So military backgrounds in IT will translate nicely into desktop support. Again, they're going to train you to be able to effectively start doing the job because they need people. And a lot of times you'll start working with 2 or 3 other people that are doing the work now, and then you're shadowing them, and you'll be up and running pretty quick doing tickets, okay? All right, so that gives you some information on desktop support. The kind of work that they do, the certifications that are required, and also what backgrounds will help get into that position, all right? So we were able to finish this video off. Again, we overheated earlier outside, so I got to go back through the video and see how much is salvageable from that. And it's only like 7 something in the morning here, or something around that. That's how hot it is outside already. All right. So I hope that this has helped. We're going to continue this series talking about different IT jobs, and I hope you have a great day.